Yeah. Everybody's got a vote?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Call to order the Vermilion County Council meeting for April 15th. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call. Mr. Costello.
Here.
Mr. Somerville.
Here.
Ms. Brown. Here. Mrs. James, I'm present. Mr. Weir.
Here.
Mr. Bose.
Here.
And Mr. Braun.
Here.
Thank you. All right, first item we have is our approval of minutes for our March 11th, 2024 meeting. Are there any corrections, additions, comments for those minutes? Do we have a motion to accept them?
Motion made.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Somerville, a second for a motion for Mr. Weir, a second for Mr. Somerville, excuse me, to accept the March 11th, 2024 council minutes. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Minutes are approved. Alright. Next, you have your treasurer's report. There's the treasurer's report and the interest report. Are there any questions or comments regarding those? Alright. Well, we will move along to the transfer of funds. We have a few reporting only this evening and a few that we need to vote on. The first one tonight is will require a vote. It is from the clerk's office. They are asking to move $2,600 from polling places into janitor and election supplies. The election machines have new cases and they were very heavy and bulky. With these cases, Terry will need extra assistance in delivering and setting them up so poll workers do not have to do any lifting. So they're just asking to transfer that money.
I'll make that motion. Haven't kind of been involved with that before.
No
Seems like
second.
he does a really nice job in getting stuff there.
Thank you. I have a motion for Mr. Weir, a second for Mr. Bose to approve the $2,600 transfer from polling places to janitor and election supplies in the clerk's office. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Transfer is approved. The next transfer also will require a vote. The treasurer is asking to move $255 from dues and subscriptions to office supplies to purchase additional office supplies as needed when on sale. Florinda did text me and said she was not able to make it tonight, so she...
And she did call me and we talked about it, and I told her I personally didn't have any issues, so I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Mr. Weir, a second from Ms. Brown. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. It is approved. Our next transfer is also one we need to vote on. The health department is asking to move $700 from operating supplies to the recycling event for funds for the tire recycling program.
Make a motion.
Okay.
No second.
All right.
So as far as discussion,
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have asked, but I didn't. Is she intending to use this for solid waste, or? I assume not.
There's a tire recycling day, so
Is that going to be sponsored by the health department, or is? thought,
I've seen other counties use
It-
health departments for like tire amnesty days, things like that, where people are allowed to bring in old tires to get rid of them.
And that's the day, it does say on here Vermilion County Solid Waste is who it's going to.
oh,
So,
it is,
yeah.
okay.
So it's in conjunction with their
She-
tire
she-
recycling.
Okay, I didn't know.
Is the $700 a disposal fee or dumpster rental or something like that?
They do charge for some things, and then they have the dumpsters, and then I don't know what all their costs are for sure. Eric would probably be the one that would get us that information.
So they're probably working hand in hand.
I think.
I mean, I'm on the committee, but I don't recall that, so that's the reason why I was asking.
Well, I mean, the explanation is tire recycling program specifically, so I assume the $700 would be some sort of fee to handle tires. Is that right?
Yeah, and I believe the solid waste has a date set for that, so that's the reason why
Oh.
these funds are gonna be used for that event.
That particular one.
And that's what it looks like. I don't know that for certain, but that was my question,
Oh,
is
I
it?
understand.
And it appears to be, it is. so.
Any other discussion? Okay. I have a motion from Mr. Brown, a second from Mr. Bose to approve the transfer of $700 from operating supplies to recycling event. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Transfer is approved. Our next voting transfer is a multiple department. This is to move a total of $9,782.96 from equipment and main agreements and printing and office equipment into equipment and maintenance agreements. This is for the copiers. We're putting it all in one budget. They have recently gone under like one contract for the courthouse. So they're moving basically the expenses into one account in the commissioner's budget, so that way each individual department won't have an expense. It just gets paid out of one location now. So it's just moving those funds into one fund to pay it.
How much is that costing it per year?
It's more than $9,000.
This is the remaining budget that they have, like what's left in their budgets.
I just wondered what this new deal was costing. I was just wondering what it was costing the county for this.
Britton was spearheading that project, but I don't see him. Yeah.
Are those equipment in place now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it something you want to postpone and before we talk to Britton, or is it something that will entertain a motion?
No.
This just makes it easier if you want an explanation. This
Yeah.
just makes it easier on billing.
Well, it's gonna be making it easier on us when we do the budget
Thank you.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not gonna be.
It's in one account.
Yeah, it's not gonna be in all these different budgets. We'll be able to see everything up front.
Could it save any money doing it?
Yes.
I don't know anybody.
Does
everybody
every
was happy
office has
about
the
it.
same equipment now, or is there shared equipment?
It
would
just saves the
make sense
county
to
money.
have one thing.
Most
It's all under
everything's the
one
same. There's a
umbrella.
couple that are a little bit different with for their specific uses, but I believe that everything's pretty much the same.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion for Mr. Brown, or business, I got this all backwards tonight, sorry. I have a motion for Mr. Bose, a second for Mr. Brown, to transfer $9,782.96 from multiple accounts into equipment and maintenance agreements. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
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 All those opposed, state no. Transfer is approved. I think that was the last of the voting. So next we have a transfer of funds from the commissioners from bonds to equipment and maintenance agreements. That's the printers again. And another transfer that is reporting only from the highway department. They're transferring $15,000 from truck and equipment into professional services for Clark Dietz payments. So Any questions on those?
What's the truck and equipment line item? It's maintenance?
Truck and equipment maintenance,
All right. We have a few additional appropriations this evening. Our first additional appropriation tonight is from the clerk's office. They're asking for $5,400 be put into equipment and maintenance. It is to cover the CSI bill. It wasn't budgeted because this system is no longer used. However, in order to keep our keep our files, in case anything is lost, we have to pay them in order to keep our files. So this is the amount. 4,000 of that's to cover that, and then 1,000 is to cover the new copier machine that was paid in full when we got a new one. I'm not sure on that one.
I'm kind of confused.
Tammy's here. What's the $1,000 for? Like 4,000 was for the CSI.
4,000 is for the CSI. The 1,000 was, I was told by somebody in the auditor's office, I had to appropriate money for our new printer. Our
Hi,
issue
before we
printer.
did the other thing.
Oh, before we did the transfers?
Yes, because we didn't do that yet.
I didn't have anything budgeted. My RICO was paid for.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
that's
So,
okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. So, if we hadn't have done the transfer and put everything into one account, you were going to need money in your budget. So really, we just need the $4,000 for the CSI.
That's what,
It says 4,000.
I need
Is it supposed to be
4,000 for
44?
CSI, but then I was told 1,000 to put into the budget for my printer.
Okay, you won't need the budget printer anymore, because since we just transferred it all into one account to pay it out of that, you won't need to put it in your budget
Okay.
anymore. So you won't have to worry about the printer. But what exactly amount, you need is it 4 or 4,400 for
It's
CSI?
Just 4,000.
4,000, okay. So cross that out and put 4,000.
What's the 400 for?
Yeah.
So we don't need the $1,000 to cover the,
Mm-mm.
okay, that's,
Good
I think
question.
I probably put the wrong amount there. I apologize.
It's all right.
Why is it 5,400 and we're talking 4,000 and 1,000?
She said she put the wrong number.
I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Did we just get rid of CSI? Is that why we didn't budget that?
No, it was back in 21 when we went to Odyssey. CSI was our old court system, and I know that there's only one person in court, one person in probation, myself, and the prosecutor's office that can even access it, but it gives us access to something that may not have transferred to Odyssey. We can always go back into CSI and double check.
So is that a yearly fee we pay them then?
It's yearly.
Okay. Basically like an archive? Is that?
It's more of an archive, yeah. We can't do anything in it anymore. We can just go into it and see, you know, if payment was made over here and it's not showing over here, we know there was a discrepancy.
Okay. How long do you have to keep those records? Is it like a forever, or is it something that after so many
I
years?
think after so long we can get rid of it. I have reached out to other clerks and they have, I'm thinking, if we can get through the year, I think we'd be okay, because then we're quite a few years with Odyssey now.
Okay.
I know the prosecutor's office would like to keep it forever, but I don't think my office needs it.
Okay.
And I've talked to the court and probation, and they don't really use it that much anymore.
Okay.
It's just mainly I use it in case something comes up, I'm able to go back and backtrack and see if something didn't transfer.
Okay. So we'll get an update from you at budget time whether we need to keep it or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
All right. Thanks.
so it's gonna cost $4,000 a year to be able to,
Mhm. But she's hoping not to have to keep.
This might be the last year or next.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. I have a motion for Mr. Brown, a second for Mr. Weir. Got it right this time? To approve $4,000 for the clerk's equipment and maintenance account. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. All right. Additional is approved. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Our next additional appropriation is from the Sheriff's Office. They received a check from the insurance company for $36,650 for the replacement vehicle. They are wanting to put this back into their sheriff's marked car and light bar line item. They want to.
Yeah, we had 2 vehicles that were totaled the end of last year. That's the insurance money. We just need to move it into this year's budget so we can use it for the new vehicles and equipment to get them outfitted.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion from Mr. Bose, a second from Mr. Brown. Is there any further discussion?
Will all the money be spent on the insurance money that we got back was more than 36,000? Or this is what it's gonna cost to replace the?
That's the total, between the 2 vehicles, that was the total amount we got back, was 36 and some change.
Who's putting it back to maybe?
It's just going into outfitting the replacement vehicle.
Okay.
And the cost of the new vehicle.
One replacement vehicle?
Well, we got 3 vehicles normally that was budgeted, and 1 was a replacement vehicle.
And will you be able to outfit everything
We
for
should,
36?
Yeah, we
Okay.
should.
For 2 vehicles, not 3 or 3?
The 36, that was between that and some money that we had that was budgeted for 24 covered the cost of a new truck. We've got 2 trucks. The trucks are about $10,000 cheaper, so we got 2
Okay.
of those this
All
year.
right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor of the additional appropriation of $36,650 being put back into their account, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed state no. The appropriation is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next additional appropriation tonight is from the Extension Office. Connie retired, and so that they did hire someone new. When she retired, she was paid out for her unused vacation and flex time. And so this is the amount total that we need extra in the budget to cover the changing of Connie to the new person. So I'm going to apologize, I'm not sure of her name.
Connie Warner.
Well, Connie did, but...
Oh, the new person.
Keely? Is that? So.
Retired 2 months today.
2 months today. Are you enjoying retirement?
I highly recommend it. My husband might have a different opinion.
Well, is she coming back to work this summer?
Possibly.
Give
me a break.
Aw. I'm glad you're enjoying your retirement.
Thank you very much.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Weir, a second from Ms. Brown, to approve $5,766 into the Vermillion County Extension, into the Office Manager, Social Security, Medicare, and Perf lines. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Great. Appropriations approved.
If you ever need help with your perf, I can explain it to you.
You've had to get some good experience there, huh? Our next additional appropriation tonight is from the Commissioners Court. It is, they received money from the printer company, our old printer company, to send the, from Toshiba, the new ones. Okay. That way they can return the printers.
To cover the freight for returning.
The shipping. And so they received $3,411.83, and so they are asking to put that back into the freight and express line item.
Motion made.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Weir, a second from Mr. Brown. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Appropriations approved. Alright, our next additional tonight is from the Vermillion County Drainage Board. They're asking for $6,140.63. Yes. Mr. Mack is here tonight. Do you want to explain some of that?
Ron Mack, County Surveyor.
Thank you.
As part of our drainage issues that we're addressing that have not been taken care of for a great many years, we discovered that basically we put together a drainage ordinance draft to present to the APC, which was a combination of the Clinton County draft, Clinton County ordinance, and the Vico County ordinance. We just made it a very general type ordinance. But as we've got into things and working with our engineer, they're running into some real issues in Fountain County where the ordinance isn't quite tight enough. Fountain County's very progressive. They got a lot of subdivisions going in, and they're running into issues with surface water running on the neighbors and possible well contamination. So he has offered to look at ours, change the verbiage, tighten it up, and make it suitable. As we got through this, I can't say many years ago, several years ago, the commissioners were presented with a floodplain ordinance draft that was never enacted. I don't know the history behind it, but DNR, and Neil, you can probably help me with this, DNR just changed their floodplains. Goes into effect this summer sometime. Their descriptions and how you calculate it and things like that.
I don't work with it completely.
Okay.
There were some changes that were made,
Yeah.
but I think there were some things that were not finalized, so I'm not
So
sure.
the engineer has offered to also take a look at that draft, tighten it up, make sure it's right, and then finally, the stormwater management draft, that ordinance that we have in place is a little loose according to some of the new statutes, and that needs to be updated. Why is all this important? Well, I told you about Fountain County. The other thing about the retention ponds and things that works back and forth between these two deals is that apparently in Montgomery County, an engineer at some point in time, when he wrote their, I'm not sure if it's a floodplain or their drainage ordinance, switched from, is it gallons per minute or gallons per whatever, to cubic feet. And what happened was they forced a factory over there to build a retention pond considerably larger than it had to be, and they put it on top of sand. They didn't address the hydrology of the soils. So consequently, these last rains we've had, there's been no water collected in the retention ponds. And so, there just wasn't any need for it. So he's offered to look at all this, put it all together, make sure all the verbiage is correct, all the verbiage is legal. Apparently the way they calculate the runoff now has changed some in the last few years. They used to go by, he said the older guys always used charts, and now all of it is now computer models, the way they calculate all this stuff. And so, he's offered to update all that for us. We went to the APC, and we got their input, asked them if they were interested, if they would want us to go through all this work, and they did ecstatically support it, because as part of the unified ordinance development, did I say that right? They make many references to the drainage ordinance, to stormwater management, to floodplain, those types of things.
Is the floodplain not included in APC?
Not right now. The ordinance was never.
I think there's supposed to be someone on that APC board that's over that.
It never was done.
There has been someone who's wanted to.
Yeah, that was meant, it was years ago. It hadn't been touched in years. So
APC hasn't done it in years. Is that what?
So we need to do that. We need to put it all together. We need to get it all the same verbiage, same calculations, so it all fits in with the unified ordinance that's being developed now, and nice, crisp, clean, no ambiguity, You don't have to guess at what you're doing.
This would be the final report then, like this would
This
do
would
all of
be
it.
it.
It's not
So
like
what would happen is he would do all 3 of these ordinance drafts, and he would submit them, we would submit them back to the APC for approval, and then if the APC approves them, then we bring them to the commissioners.
How is this the job of the drainage board? I don't get it. This is
Well-
an ordinance that you can't, the drainage board
This-
doesn't have
this
any authority to
began-
pass ordinances.
This began with looking at the regulated drains and how they were being affected.
Yeah.
So like right now, Smith had tiled, I don't know, 800 acres up in Highland Township, and it all runs right down into the regulated drain. Well, they've cut the roads in a couple places, and that's all been approved and all that. But you want to make sure that when they cross that road, they put, the right base in, they put the right.
Yeah, but isn't this a
tile in, so that's
commissioner's
part of it.
issue? Isn't this a commissioner's issue to pass an ordinance for stormwater management?
Well,
Unless I'm wrong.
We just felt like it was our duty to present them with a draft, so they didn't have to spend their time and trouble of doing that.
But that's their job, is to spend their time and trouble doing
But
that.
it
It's
hasn't
not
been
your
done for the
job.
last 60 years. That's the problem.
Well, that's a
So
difference.
somebody's gotta do
That's
it.
another story, but,
Somebody's got to do it, so that's the reason why we took it on.
I mean, you mentioned the one from Vigo County. I work with that every day, and I have never spoke with the surveyor's office. I don't even know who's on their drainage board.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with the ordinance that we have.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Not that this one has to be modeled exactly like that, but I'm asking, why does the drainage board, the drainage board has a specific role, it's supposed to perform certain things, and I don't see that as being one of them, but that's me. Just based on what I know about
Yeah.
drainage boards.
And the only other issue that I could bring is that, I think I've sent you an email. I've got conversations with IFB attorneys who are looking at, according to the Supreme Court, the counties are responsible for WPA projects, which include tiles and ditches. Well, how far does that go? We really don't know. We really don't have those kind of records in Vermilion County. And unfortunately, according to the National Archives, that's pretty common. So we're just trying to piece all this together so we have a good, comprehensive water program that takes care of all our
What's the
drainage.
budget? What does the drainage board currently have? What is their budget right now? What
We
is
have
it for?
$1,800 for the membership,
For what?
for the
For the board to
For the
pay?
board.
That's
That's it. That's all we have.
And any other money that the board would have would come from what?
General fund.
From you guys. We have to come to you. There's nothing
No,
left
it would
in
come
the-
from,
The
They
general
have-
fund.
levies on legal drains
There's
to
the Dana-
perform maintenance on such
The
drains.
Dana Ditch has a separate fund within the
Okay.
drainage
Yeah.
board.
Right.
But then we have no other money. Like, we don't even have, office supplies. That all comes out of the surveyor's office now.
So this is an estimate.
That's what he said he would do it for, at $6,100. He would do all 3 ordinance drafts that we could present to the
Well,
APC.
on the work order agreement, it says estimate. And then the other note here, it says Vermilion County to provide a Word document version of the existing ordinance.
Right, which they've already gave. I've already given them those things.
I thought you said we didn't have an ordinance.
We have a draft, but it was never enacted.
So we don't have an ordinance.
We don't have an ordinance on floodplain. No.
So I guess I'm confused.
There's
I
stormwater
mean,
management.
So they
That's
accepted a
enacted.
proposal? Or do they need the because it says existing ordinance.
The existing, he has the stormwater management plan. That's existing. That's enacted. Okay? He has the draft that the drainage board put together for the drainage, comprehensive drainage ordinance, just like they have in Clinton County and in Vigo County. Clinton County Surveyor's Office is in charge of that. And then there's a floodplain ordinance draft that's never been enacted on. And it's several years old. So it needs to be updated.
What's the purpose of that draft? What's the purpose of a floodplain ordinance?
Well, we want to make sure that it coincides with the DNR because that governs all your homeowner's insurance.
We have to have that?
They say, some places you do.
here? I mean, do we have to here? You said some places. Does that mean?
In some places in the county, if they are in the floodplain, yes, they have to have.
And who
flood
normally
insurance.
manages that?
Well, that's came from the insurance lady. I don't know. She was wanting to know where our floodplains were and things like that, and we don't. we don't have the updated-
Who has that information?
I think Penny's the floodplain coordinator.
Does she want this? I mean.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not tying all this together is my issue right now.
Yeah. That's the reason why we took it to the APC to get their buy-in
Have
and
you
get their
asked-
approval to do it.
Since it ultimately has to go to the commissioners, have you already taken it to their meeting too?
No, I've not.
I didn't know.
Have they asked for this ordinance? Or if this gets done, I mean, assuming whoever does it, and this gets taken to them, what are they gonna do with this?
Well, they're either gonna pass it or not pass it.
But
And
have
then
they
that means-
asked for it? I
in the
mean, are they
unified
seeking this?
development ordinance that we're spending $40,000 or $50,000 on, any reference to that won't be any good.
You know, if I could interject, I sit on the drainage board now with Ron and the other members. What's the guy's name from Fountain County, Ron? Is it Roger?
Roger Azar.
Roger
yeah.
brought this up at a meeting we were at, and it was, I don't think Ron or anybody else really sought this out. I think Roger brought this to the drainage board upon discussion with the I-74 corridor and the issues he was running into in Covington. And he had kind of off the cuff said, hey, I'll put together a proposal and send it to the board. So I think that's where this is coming
Yeah.
from. Roger was just kind of out of good graces saying, hey, I ran into a lot of issues in my county I'm working in. Let me just put this together so I can maybe help you guys before something bad happens and you.
I know, I don't doubt that, and I have no issues with that. I have a narrow, focused view of what a drainage board is and what they're supposed to do, and I don't see this as being part of it. And that's just because of what, you know.
But
I,
the problem is, since John Cheesewright served, we haven't had any significant landowners serving in the Vermillion County government. And there's not an appreciation for the agricultural community, there's not a true appreciation for the drainage issues that
by
they
who?
face.
Who doesn't appreciate it? Me?
No, I'm just saying, there's not a complete, total understanding of what goes on. In an urban area, it's one thing, but, you know, out here in the county, we're a rural county, and it's a lot different. And so, the drainage board thought this was important and wanted me to bring it to the council.
The drainage board has voted on to
Yes.
to see this one. Are these areas then typically that the APC would normally start this process, or the commissioners?
I don't know. I don't think anybody's done anything with it for many, many
I
years.
just wondered where.
So somebody's gotta do something.
And that's not an argument. I mean, yeah, something needs done, but I mean, if the commissioners wanted to pass a drainage ordinance, they would. I mean, do they? There's 3 commissioners here. I'll wait till they can speak. Well, if you guys want to take the podium and discuss it, that's fine. And I'll listen to you out there. That's fine. But I don't know. I mean, being said, we need to spend this money because the commissioners need this, and I haven't heard that.
Yeah, as one commissioner, like I said, that serves on the drainage board, I think Roger would have brought this to anybody, whether this is at a council meeting or a commissioner's meeting, and I think Roger's intent was just to help Vermillion County because he'd heard of the I-74 development. He didn't want to see us get down a line, and I don't think Roger cares where it starts at, whether it was the APC, the commissioners, or us, and I think the drainage board, and I'd have to look at the minutes, I think it was unanimous. We said, hey, give us a proposal and we'll take it from there. But again, that's one commissioner, I can't speak for the other 2, but those are my 2 cents on it anyway.
And I say, I no issues that something like this may be needed. There may be multiple agencies, organizations within the county that need this type of direction. Again, my issue is strictly where it originates and who's getting the money to do this. I have, like I say earlier, the drainage board to me has a specific role. I don't think this is it. That's all I'm saying. It's not the issue of you know, whether I appreciate drainage or agriculture or whatnot. It's the commissioners ought to be asking for this, and they should appropriate money to get this done. However, and if they want to use a drainage board, then they would come to us and say, we'd like to have a drainage board to do this for us. I mean, I think it's, you know, where do you start is what I'm saying.
Ritton Luther, Vermillion County Commissioner.
This is outside the purview of the Drainage Board. They have defined statutory requirements. Can be part of the APC though. Floodplain coordinator is Penny Carpenter, or has been and still is at this point in time. If we don't have a floodplain ordinance, then floodplain insurance isn't in effect then. So I believe we do have floodplain insurance, so therefore there's an ordinance, whether it's outdated or not. But this is an APC issue and a floodplain issue, not a Drainage Board issue. APC, if they want to change something with the ordinances, then they should be bringing it to the commissioners, or the commissioners should be approaching the APC. The APC has about two meetings to be able to come up with things, or actually they present at 2 meetings a ordinance for drainage if they wish to have one for APC. The commissioners can either agree with that ordinance or not agree with that ordinance. If they don't bring it in front of the commissioners can draft their own ordinance without the APC's consent. So basically it starts with the APC and comes to the commissioners at that point in time. Floodplain though is, neither one of these topics is a Drainage Board topic though, in its own rights by statute. Stormwater management, I mean, I deal with it, so I guess that's why I have a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. It is important, and the stormwater management plan for like Vigo County is very, very specific as to why it's there and how it was created, who created it. It wasn't there 15 years ago. It's been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years or something, and it was specifically it was developed by the commissioners to address runoff issues with developments pertaining to how it affects the right-of-way. That's it. That's typically how it's There's done. nothing in it about legal drains, there's nothing about floodplains, nothing. So that ordinance is really, there's a big technical document that goes with it, but it's not, the ordinance is pretty basic, but I mean, it has a real narrow focus. And that's what I'm asking is if you guys that's what you're after, or if it's a bigger picture, but you're not after anything though. The commissioners have not addressed that, and if the APC can bring it in front of the commissioners, not the Drainage Board, but the APC can. The APC has authority to be able to draft one. Usually they don't do those unless the commissioners ask for it. It should be it has been addressed with Pendy as far as the new zoning and comprehensive plan completion is supposed to be part of that. So whether it is or not, I don't know. I haven't seen an update on that plan.
So it sounds like we might have some questions for APC then?
It's an APC issue, it's not a Drainage Board issue.
That's the reason why we asked APC if they wanted us to do this, and they did. That's all I'm saying.
I guess my thinking, like from my understanding of what's been said, is that it theoretically probably needs done. However, APC should be the one to initiate this, not the Drainage Board.
And do they need an additional appropriation or not?
So does APC need to take this information then to the commissioners and ask if they need it done?
It would be prudent for the APC to do so. The APC is not underneath the direct control of the commissioners because it has a multifaceted makeup. If they take something on their own and spend money on it without asking the commissioners, it may be dead upon arrival and a waste of money. So by all rights, APC should ask commissioners whether they're interested in this or not.
And I believe
the
the ABC does have professional fees, although they did have some of it earmarked for, I think, one of the plans. So I don't know what their remaining budget left is. So they might have funds available. I'm not sure where they're at on their budget.
But the APC should be asking for these funds, not Drainage Board.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I will say one thing is it's nice to have somebody volunteer to provide some services to it, but I think collectively our groups need to get together before they come to us and ask them for money. So.
I'd like to hear from the APC. Again, I have nothing,
right.
If they want the Drainage Board to do it, that's
and
whatever.
of course Ron's saying they somehow they collaborated, and maybe it should say APC on here instead of Drainage Board, so.
I mean, the Drainage Board, this money's to hire a consultant, which they could do as well. I mean, can the APC enter into contracts for something they need as well? I mean, does it matter whether they use?
They do. They hire contractors all the time for their plans.
But the way I also understand that is from what Mr. Luther said is, it could be did upon arrival if, did I understand it right? Seems like the three groups need, or at least two groups need to get together and talk about this.
Personally, I feel like I feel like they need to ask the commissioners for sure and get their approval, because there's no sense in going through all this if the commissioners aren't going to want to approve something. I mean, I'd hate to pay for it and then it just, I mean, not that
If
they're
they
gonna
don't
say
approve
no.
it, what good is
They
it?
might say
So-
yes, but to have that line of command before we actually approve the money.
So if we appropriated this, just as is, and everything worked out, and everyone's happy, and I have no problem with that, and the commissioners said, we don't want it, then what was it for? And right now, they're saying no?
I don't know that I
I
heard
didn't hear
no.
no's, but it's just with the.
We were-
Hadn't happened yet.
Could
Yeah.
say no.
So I guess I recommend that we table it until we hear more.
All right.
Okay. Is there a motion on the table? Is there a
Motion
second?
made.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion for Mr. Weir, second for Mr. Bose to table the additional appropriation. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed, state no. Alright, it is tabled. Alright, and our last additional appropriation tonight is for the Sheriff's Department. This one is for the amount of $45,000 out of the public safety funds. This is to cover the remaining expense for this current year for the new body cameras and tasers and dash cams. We were able to work with the company to pay quarterly, and so with the first quarter of the year was paid with the grant money they had, and so this is for the remaining 3 quarters for this year, 2024. So,
Why did we work out a maintenance contract on that? Remember this talking about a maintenance contract or something?
Mike, do you have any on that?
The body cameras?
Yeah, I got
tasers?
It came with it.
I didn't realize this was on the agenda tonight.
We just want to make sure we can pay it for you.
Right.
So.
Got your name on
Alright, any questions on that one? And the one behind it is the old one, because we were originally going to do it in 1 lump payment, but we've worked it out to pay quarterly, so you can, that was no good.
it. The one with the red?
Yeah, the red's no. That was the original one that we were going to have to.
I was just paying for it all at once.
Right.
Yeah, we discussed and then changed it to,
So.
So we don't even need that.
Nope.
well, just for your information. In case you forgot.
Pay it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Alright, I have a motion for Mr. Somerville, a second for Mr. Brown to approve the $45,000 of the public safety. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. The appropriations approved. Alright, that is the end of additionals tonight. Moving on to old business, we have a letter from the county historian, Mr. George Sanquinity, and he is here this evening. George? All right. If you could, that'd be great.
I'd like to give you a little bit of updates too, as to what's going on.
Okay.
Indiana Historical Bureau released a new application for this year. This probably Wednesday or Thursday, I think, which I've got a copy here. Cheryl Hargrave is working on hers now for the Chun marker. Jill Weiss Simmons, who's the staff historian at the Indiana Historical Bureau, she had done the primary source research on this because that's difficult to come up with. We've got secondary sources. But she's got the application. She's going to fill out her portion. There's probably 2 or 3 pages here that they want points that you want to bring out, and there's references that have to back that up. And from that, they create the narrative that goes on the marker. So she's preparing that. We're waiting for that to receive that. Once we get it, she's wanting us to give her feedback. And then we'll finish out the application. And Sean Floyd had agreed to take Cheryl's application for Universal on Major Junction and the Cayuga marker to deliver those to the Historical Bureau. It's just going to be a big manila envelope. Once Jill gets our application back completed, she's wanting to get together with Chief Craig Harper, the Peoria Tribe of Oklahoma, because the Piankashaw actually were a part of the Miami tribe. They had separated from the Miamis probably in the late 1600s, maybe early 1700s. And then when the natives were all taken west of the Mississippi in about the 1830s, 1840s, the Piankashaw, the Wea, the Kaskaskia had merged with the Peoria tribe in 1850s. And so they're part of the Peoria tribe now. But Jill is wanting to get their input on this, and hopefully we can get Chief Craig Harper to come up here for the dedication, which this will all be next year. The application is due in July, but I'd like to have these delivered to them next month, because that'll give us time, especially with the one at Cayuga, when she's having to check with the Peoria tribe to get everything covered so we can meet the July deadline. They'll review all these applications in September, and they have a whole slew of applications that they receive from across the state of Indiana. They're going to review these, and I mean, we have to have our T's crossed and everything just so, and then they'll decide what they'll go with. So here again, there's no guarantee we'll get these markers. We won't know until after September. I did talk to Dennis Latta, who's with the Vincennes Historical Antiquarian Society. He's a Knox County historian. I've known him for several years now. Siwa Studios produced these markers out of Marietta, Ohio, and I know when Tim and I had worked on getting the marker for Shepherdsville, it was like 3 months from the time we sent the application in until we received it. Dennis is telling me now it's taking up to 6 months. The company's going to have to expand. So I don't know how much time is going to be involved.
Well, hopefully it's enough time for it to warm up, right?
Yes. But really, right now, we're needing the letter of support, one for Cheryl's work on Major John Shun's marker, and the one for the Cayuga marker. We need the letter of support to go in with the application and all of the materials. We have to have all that together. So like I say, I'd like to get it up to them next month so we have time to work with.
Really, another thing we're trying to discuss is having a letter for financial support. If you guys seen that letter, the financial support to do these projects, it should be included in your packet that you have the notes.
And we have the main
talking
letter.
about what I sent earlier this year. Yeah, I made up a letter that I had give to the commissioners. In here, I think it was February the 12th at council meeting that we presented this, and this is a copy of the original. If you don't have that on hand, it was turned in. It's got on the next page, it's got the list of our estimates. There's no change in the price of the markers. It's still the same as last year, $3,300, but there's other incidental prices in there.
2 markers there, and like George was saying, they're around $3,300 a piece. There's probably another couple $100 there in stuffing on concrete and stuff like that.
I think we got it listed there because there's the post has to be mounted in concrete, about 3 feet down. We're wanting to put a barrier around the base of the markers because the Shepherdsville marker has been broken. The Harrison Ford, the Harrison Crossing marker that was repainted last year had been broken in the past sometime. And it's just mowing equipment going around there, and
Back has
catching
been
them
welded
right
up
now.
around the bottom, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Harrison Crossing marker was erected in 1960, and it looks bad. You can see the weld across it, the mounting part there. Normally they have set screws in there. They were all drilled out. We had to put a bolt through there to secure it to the post.
So what's the total on that sheet? Can you see what the total is?
Grand total?
The descriptive total. It says what each
Well,
individual.
the Cayuga Native Historical Markers, 5,800. John Chun Historical Markers, 4,800. And the Chun Scott Cemetery is 2,000. So that's 68. So it's about 13,600.
Okay.
If I add.
Well, I'll give you an update. There's, with having George and his people helping him, he's done a lot in our county, historical wise. You can see the new signs that they painted and redone, and the Chunks Ford Cemetery has been a project that several of us have been working on for 4 years or so, and we got a tremendous amount of investment in that cemetery. We do have all the wrought iron fencing purchased now. It's already to be painted. We have the paint there. I just got the concrete donated for pouring the pillars, and it's eventually going to come together. So the money you put in the Chunks Ford, it's probably a very small amount of what's already been invested in there, and that is county property. So we're going to let you know it's a good investment when you go by and see that, and the markers are always good. And like George said, we don't know if we'll get the markers or not, but I like to see George have the approval of the funding to do that, so he can include, right, that with his letter to the state for these markers.
So do you need a letter of support and then a letter of financial support, or just one that encompasses all?
Well,
we just got to make sure the money's there. You know what I mean? However you want to do it, right?
if I can find here, it just says on here, please send with the application at least one letter of support from a donor partner. That's all they're asking.
Okay. So basically you're asking for a blessing, if you get the historical markers approved by the state, that we would fund the markers to have them produced. Is that?
Yeah, we're just trying to make sure we get the funding, because
Okay.
he does all this work, and all this, everybody else does the work, and then
Right.
we
I
don't
just
have
want to make
funding.
sure that we understand what you need.
Yeah.
So.
There's a chance to get one, two, or all of them, or none of
Well,
them. There's a chance, so financially we can.
Basically, with the Indiana Historical Bureau, they kind of favor minority groups, which the Native Indian Village would be a minority group. We're hoping Cheryl gets hers. But from what we've been told, we probably have maybe a slightly better chance of getting the marker for Cayuga. I'd like to see both of them, because they're both significant pieces of history here in the county.
And we don't know also, can an account be opened up with, because right now when I got some money for the Chunks Ford Cemetery, I put it in an account here and then had it appropriated out to spend. How would that work if they want to do something, say if this is approved and the money's approved, how would we just come back to the council with our bill and say we got the bill and you guys approve it? Is that the process, or do you guys create an account? I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Probably
Yeah.
get
Works.
Yeah.
account.
Yeah, we'll have to put it in a fund somewhere, whether it's in the commissioner's court or in like tourism and travel or something like that. We would have to just appropriate it into there and then spend it out of there.
Right now, the group doesn't have any officers. We've got Mike, Connie, and Cheryl, and Sean Floyd, and Melissa. Of course, she's has health problems, but would like to get some more members. I'd like to get some officers, secretary, treasurer, but we don't have any volunteers to do that.
But if he gets some funding, if someone comes along and wants to give him money for this project, can we?
We can create that, yeah, we can appropriate it
Yeah,
into
because
something.
I had one individual on a Facebook post I put on for membership that was wanting to give a donation, but I thought, we're not really set up with officers, and then Tim mentioned if we could set up an account.
We can set up a separate line item for it.
Yeah, okay.
Tim, you said it's county property. Who maintains it and cuts it? I mean, if you guys quit doing it, is it a county
Well, the eventual goal
responsibility?
is, and Britain's worked hard on this, he had an interlocal agreement. There's a little bit up on the south side, it's in Vigo County.
Mhm.
It's on Vigo County line, and he had an interlocal agreement with the local trustee that did reimburse whoever mowed it for their part. Eventually, this is something that will, if we don't create a county cemetery board, then eventually we'll probably end up going to the trustee. But I will not give that will not be presented to the trustee until that plan is pristine. I mean, we're getting all the stumps out, we're on our fence put up, all the Walden wire fence all around it, we're setting a monument marker there. I mean, it's gonna be nice. It's a major investment. And it's owned by the county, but eventually what I'd like to see is the responsibility of the cemeteries is the trustee. And but if I try to approach a trustee and say, I want to present it to him, it's going to be totally done where you can go in and mow it good. I mean, I ain't going to try to turn something over to them. They've been burnt too many times, and people turn cemeteries over to them and they're not done and not complete. So this will be when it's done, it's going to take a lot more work, but eventually when it's done, it'll be a real nice facility. You have to see before and after pictures, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot
we
of
took
work
so many
to be done.
trees out and stumps and bulldozed, and it's been a big project. But what it is, Major John Chung is buried there, and you might have seen his name on some articles around here that people have been circulating about me, and it's circulating an article from a dead man 120 years ago. But anyway, that's him, and he's dead. And that's what, he's dead. But he was the last committee off of Fort Henry Harrison. He's buried there. The other thing, there's a stone that's put in right inside. His relatives have put the stone inside. They thought it was on the grave marker right there, and that's not his grave. And so when we did the dedication, we're actually going to move that stone back to put it back by his family, where we really think it's right where it's supposed to go. So it's going to be a nice event we get.
Would the historical marker go there, or does it go in Universal?
We're looking at Universal.
Okay. That way you can access it easier. Like I
Well,
said.
thing is,
Where's it?
John Chun was the founder of Universal, Chun's
Okay.
Ford.
Yeah.
This Indiana Historical Bureau wants a primary location, they want an alternate. So we've got
Both.
between those.
Okay.
The Cayuga marker we're wanting to put in the fairgrounds, so we've met with the park board, and they're fine with it. They've got a frisbee golf thing set up there, so we could move the marker however, the
Okay.
final location. I've got a copy of the new application that we'll have to fill out, and then I've got a letter here that I had given to the commissioners. I laid out one out for the council if you want it, that's up to you.
Okay. Well, I first needed a motion and a second and a vote to approve a financial letter of support if we're willing to support this financially. And then if that passes, then I will take your letter. How about
Okay.
that?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that total was 12,600, not 13.
Okay.
Air.
Thanks.
Okay. Is that something you guys would like to do tonight, or put on an agenda for another night?
Did everybody get to see the letter?
You said that's due in July, so sooner the better?
This application?
Yes.
Is due, well, on the application, July the 18th is the actual date.
Okay.
But like I say, I want to get it in next month.
Gotcha. So,
I'm fine with it.
anyone want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion.
All right, thank you.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Somerville, a second from Ms. Brown, to send a financial letter of support and overall support on behalf of the two historical markers to be placed in Cayuga and Universal. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Okay. We will have your letter of support. Make sure I get that form letter you have. We'll make sure we get it filled out for you.
Okay, do you want that now, or you want that later?
I can, whichever. You can bring it up later or now. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, George. And everyone else that works. I know that's a lot of work you've done so far. Can we just make sure the dedication's like when it's at least above 32 degrees? Can we just make sure the dedication is at least above 32 degrees?
Yeah. So it's not baking out there.
George won't be out there, I guarantee you.
Maybe like a May. Mm-mm.
I want to say there was a nice picture in the paper, the Clintonian had some high school girls helping, it was very nice.
Alright. Alright, that was the only item we had for old business. On new business, we have Get the Lead Out program. Commissioner Yocum is here to speak about that.
I don't know if you guys had time to go, or everyone had time to go through your packet on that, Get the Lead Out. We've had meetings with Paula Market from the Health Department and meetings with Eric Scheidler from the Soil and Water. We're trying to promote a program that's never been done, probably in Indiana. I think it's important for us to be the best we possibly can be. And I think in the matter of drinking water and protecting our drinking water and making it safe and make people know into issues that they have is very important. We're a partner with, I said, with the Board of Health and also with the Soil Water. Eric Scheidler, if you don't know, he's been very active for many, many years, providing water bottles for community wells, or private wells, and to have their wells monitored. There's a very serious issue there, possibility of wells. I know I have a friend that his little boy died from a well, so many coli, and I haven't forgot that. And so we're trying to coordinate something. I think the nice picture about this is how do 3 different agencies come together to do something. And I think it's commendable to start looking into this. Eric does the sampling every year around the fair time. We're trying to, our goal eventually is to provide a database of all the wells in the county and try to make every one of those count. We can't make someone test a well, but make it available testing for every one of those wells. Our goal is to try to eliminate contamination possibilities that might exist. The other thing that the health department doing there are ordering a lot of this program called Get the Lead Out, and we have a lot of signs put in people's yards trying to promote it. She's going to be investing a lot of. The Board of Health is investing $17,500. The Soil and Water is investing $15,000 in the program. Our goal is different goals. The problem we have with water, I professionally managed water companies for over 30 years, so I'm very well versed in these issues. Lead is something that's not good, especially in youth. I think that you begin to realize the impact upon a child or a young person with help with lead is very, very dangerous. And so what we're trying to do currently, we have sent out information also to local water companies and tried to get them involved. We haven't had very much good result from them yet. The issues with lead and copper is not the issue with the water company. And a lot of people think that the issues from lead and copper is not from the water company. It's from the piping inside the house. And what happens is that water sits overnight and it collects lead, and then it makes itself available in the water the next day. So, and it has bad effects. And I know as far as managing class water companies, we would do water sampling of lead and copper, and we had 850 customers and 20 houses checked. So the possibilities of really getting accurate information is very minimal. And what we're trying to do is make lead and copper sampling available and for regular community water systems. And I want to stress that again. Water companies do not have no impact upon this lead and copper issue. It's within the house. The water from the community is delivered to the house. It's safe. But after the water sets in the lines, then it creates the problem. So we're trying to create a program which is already, we're starting to promote it. In fact, the state of Indiana came down here today in our meeting. They commended us for what we was doing, and they said that we should be able to set the standard for the rest of the counties. So I think that's commendable. But we're trying to get more testing done and make it available to people and provide them results of what's going on in their house. It's something that we want to provide at a free service. Okay? And I can go on and on about it, but the main thing what we're trying to do is make our water safer and make testing available to whoever wants it for free. And we're probably looking at a $50,000 investment, but I think more likely we wouldn't be using that much money in that program. because we don't know how many participants are gonna be. It's like $50 to do the test, I think it is.
So is the funding coming from the state, or is that something you're going to need from us?
I want to see about getting it from us.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this is a health issue, and I think that if you're going to invest in anything to make the drinking water better, and what the other problem is most of this happens in houses pre-1960, when they had lead and copper lines in. And so that population needs to be addressed, and we're also working on how do we help them if that comes out. And so we're just trying to make our county the best it can be for monitoring our drinking water and making sure that the future of the youth are very well covered.
So this will be a local program that they can go to the health department and ask for their
Yes.
house to be
Yes.
tested?
There's a whole bunch. I need to come back and make another presentation of where it's all going to go on, the dates and times, because there's more times that will be there. The Board of Health is also doing some other community events during the year, and that's also going to be available then.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to give you an overall picture, because I ain't got everything with me tonight. I got too many things going on. But I just want to let you know that that's a program we are trying to get promoted and addressed in the county. But I'll have more information in another meeting, the dates and all that. But I just want to know if you all had any questions about it, or input, or comments. You know,
Well, I see this letter that Paula Market sent to the commissioners back on November the 19th, sharing that the governor had, I guess there's a new law, effective January 1 of 2023 that went into effect, requiring that all 1- and 2-year-old children be tested for lead by the primary care provider.
Right.
So I mean, that's something, I'll say the state has been going on, and then you guys have taken the lead here in the county on doing that. So this is...
It's a real issue. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
something just to be, it's not important, it is important. She's doing, as far as Board of Health, we're doing all the lead in the houses, you know, and painting and stuff. We're just trying to make it, and the worst thing about it is the ones that live in the older houses are the ones not benefiting, you know what I mean? And the testing needs to be done on those houses. And it'll be a private thing. I mean, we can't go and tell someone they got to do it, but if they offer and want it done, and it's up to them what they do with it. At least I think they ought to be notified, or possibly notified.
I'm sure it'll bring some relief so people that do want to know can find out. So.
Yeah.
So the state providing anything? I mean, I think that
Well,
question was
the Board of
asked.
Health is providing $17,500 in it, and then Soil and Water providing $15,000 in it.
Yeah, we just did that, yeah.
Right.
Or I think that's what we kind of approved a while ago. Is the state doing anything else in addition to that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I would just like to see, I don't know if I doubt if we'll spend the $50,000, but I would like to see something appropriated, or I can come back and make another attempt at this to clarify anything you have. But I would like to see that as a county invest in something that's so critical in the health of a kid, you know. That you guys look at those papers, and I can come back another time to talk about it more thoroughly. But I would like you to consider, and if you have any questions, I want to say, if you have any questions now, you can ask me, and then when I come back, I could get them clarified.
I guess maybe another question might be is this going to be an ongoing budget item?
No.
From this just a one-time deal?
One
or?
time. It's a one-time thing. Because if they usually provide that service anyway for the bacteria for wells, and this is more to tell what's in the house. You know,
Right.
So once you find it, it's a done deal.
Is this like a home test kit, or somehow physically go out and test the water for?
Well, no, they will do it themselves. In lead and copper, the proper way to sample lead and copper is when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do, you take it out of a tap that when the line's been shut up all night. It can't have no moving water during the night. And so what's doing is testing the residual of the reaction of the water versus the lead in the piping. You just can't do it all any time of day. You got to do it first thing in the morning, first draw off your water. So let me come back again, and I'm just asking if any, please give me questions. I can get you answers next time I come back, but I just want to let you know what you think. The big thing is too is there's 3 agencies here that's working together: the Board of Health and Soil and Water, and the commissioners on this.
You think
one.
we'll start this soon then?
Do I?
We'll start this program pretty soon?
Yeah, it will be before the fair, right at the fair time would be the first start of it. But I'll get you, you might show the schedules in there. Did she show you the schedules in that, Paul Market?
I don't think I did see that. No.
There's a lot of information there. I probably ought to just go home and read the information and next meeting or something I can.
Well, if you guys come up with a number that you'd like the county to contribute, then either the commissioners or the county health board, whoever can meet, ask for that additional. Being that it's starting soon, I imagine we'll probably need those funds soon. But
I can get more information. I'll put it on maybe next meeting to bring back in. But like I said, if you have any questions, you don't feel comfortable answering, text me or call me or something, and I can discuss it with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright. Our last item tonight is also new business. It is the ambulance.
I want to say something I forgot to say. The annex is completed.
Okay.
The annex is complete.
Are they moved in?
Done. Huh?
Are they moved in?
Some of them have moved in.
Haven't?
The 27th will be the dedication. The same day we have the bicentennial down here. And we have everything going, a lot of things going on during that day. And at 1:30 will be the dedication of that. We purchased it, and Brenda helped me, or you all helped me. I think we purchased for about 103. Is that right, Britt? 103,000. We had engineering estimated down on it. It was almost $500,000 renovated. I'm proud to say that we almost have all. We have to get final invoice in, Brenda?
Not yet, I think we got 2 more cuts.
And they're small ones, right? The small ones. We did it for $200,000. So all this talk about spending all the money over there, we utilized, Britt's been involved in it, and we had the county come out, the highway department helped us all move some stuff out, and we just cut costs, and it's done. And to go from that amount to 200,000 on the project, I think we've done very well for the county. Very well. Only thing we got left to do is the Soil and Water's got their name on the back, and I need to figure out what we're going to do on the front sign to have both the public defenders in there and the Soil and Water listed on that front board so they know. Soil and Water comes in from the back. Soil and Water. The Department of Soil and Water, you come into the back and come through it, and the front part you come through the public defenders. So it's completed, and it's I think we did very well, and the county did very well. Ambulance, there's a lot of things to cover tonight. We did have a meeting earlier, and we authorized Britton Luther to oversee some things and make some decisions because we was looking at a tight time frame, and got some recommendations from him. Also, that I think what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm proposing tonight. I have to go back to the commissioners, check with John Spur to make sure we're doing everything legal. In these times, we're trying to get things done, and sometimes we're in a time frame that sometimes we're getting really pinched on, and so we have to react. And sometimes I think it's even we could call it an emergency. In fact, I'm going to make proposals of what I'm thinking, what we need to do. I will give you an update. The last time that the TV10 did a report on this on the news was bad information. I thought they was going to be here tonight, and they said they would. They're not here. But anyway, they put it out that we were paying the taxes of that local ambulance service, and we was paying them. That was totally false. We never have, we never will, and it's never been done. They retracted it on their website, but they didn't put out a proper apology. So, and I told them, I said, when you're dealing with a local thing, and you know, if you're dealing with local things, especially something as touchy as this, don't, you know, why don't you bring out the good stuff? You know, this we've been working hard on it. We're very positive. Things come together positive, and we're bringing some resolution to it. Currently, when this comes about, Park County will take over our ambulance service. This is where we're going right now. This proposal, we are currently paying $45,800 per month. That's our budget amount we're paying out. We will give that check to Park County every month. They will take care of everything. They will man, they will pay for the gas, they'll pay for everything. We've got to provide the buildings, and they will take care of everything. This gives us and I've talked to, I had a meeting with Jim Neese, the commissioner, and Julie, who's over the emergency management, and they are very happy to help us. And I think it's very commendable to have another county step in and help us through these times. Currently, some different things on the proposal. As I said, these are proposals, and we will have a meeting with the commissioners to come up with a final decision according to our county attorney. One of the agreements that we had with Jim Meese and them, they got 2 backup ambulances. And the issue that I think we got to deal with first is for them to take on the responsibility of our ambulance service. They need another ambulance. And why they say that is because they're bringing their 2 backups over here, and we don't expect them to be without a backup. I mean, it makes total sense. Why would a county accept responsibility and then create a liability for themselves? So what we have to do is provide another ambulance. And one of the figures I think that Mark has, we would love to buy new ones, but I don't think that's right now. That's the value of it is pretty high. We found one, and the difference that confirmed with me today was trying to do some research on the value. You can buy a brand new ambulance chassis with a rebuilt box on it, or you can if you buy a brand new one with a new box on it, it's $120,000 difference. So just by getting a rebuilt box on it, you save $120,000. Is that about right, Rick? Am I right, Mark? So I think the avenue, number one thing, if you got to have a vehicle, dependable vehicle to get there, and if you have a brand new chassis underneath of it, brand new everything, that's providing the thing. The box is secondary. So I think we found one for $285 or something like that. Or
194, and then with the equipment in it, it comes up to about 275.
Around 275, and that's available. So I'm just.
It'll probably be sold on Wednesday. That I see if we don't.
So what I'm saying is, I know what we agreed with Park County, and we have to honor that, and I think you all agree with that.
Just to back up 1 second, is everybody on this council aware of the situation, what's going on, the discussion? Okay, I mean, why we're even having the discussion? Okay, just making sure, because I don't think we discussed it at our last meeting.
Well,
it's been at your meetings, but not at this particular
We're
meeting.
just at a place that we're going to have to make a decision. And I do want to say one thing, the thing circulating around that the ambulance, we was not providing ambulance service is totally false. We was under the same contract, nothing had changed, and then everything blew up, But the big thing is, I think that to give credit to the commissioners and the work we've done, we've already designed two new facilities. We've already came to you guys and told you we're proactive on this, trying to get all this done, but we was looking at over several years build this out. And the first thing we was going to do is get, and you guys approved $600,000 toward the funding of 2 ambulance services. Since that time, North Vermillion just gave us property up there to build a new one. South Vermillion, right across, you read the letter, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the
that
town of Fairview Park was in favor of helping in some way with the property, the municipal owned property that they had. There's nothing in writing about that, but they are in favor of it.
I got the writing from them.
I delivered it. Yeah, I'm just saying that it's...
But what I'm trying to say, forward thinking, we were forward thinking about doing this. I mean, you get the ambulance facilities built, you've got this property secured. I'm telling you right in front, the Ready Grant is probably not going to give us any money. That's what we was banking on. So we'll have to probably find some other source. But moving ahead, I mean, there's been a lot of thought put in this process to make this work. Go ahead.
I had a question asked of me the other day, and I guess I just wanted to make sure everyone understood it the same way. But Park County is not responding from Park County. They would still have the 2 locations within Vermillion County, and that they would keep the current staff, hire them onto Park County's payroll, and then we make the payment that we were normally paying to Eric over to Park County. And so thus, we'd still have basically a service in our county, and Park County would still have a service in their county.
They just manage ours.
Yes, and they're going to use their extra ambulances to bring them over, which then nobody has an extra, so that's why we have to have the extra ambulance to have as a backup.
If they have 3 ambulances and they have 2 backups, now we're going to have 5 and 1 backup? Is that right?
5.
Huh? They have 3 mainline ambulances or 2?
They have 4, two backups. They said had 2 backups, and they're going to send 1 over here, but they can't send 2 over here.
They run 2, and then they have 2 backups.
I mean, so we can't take all their backups because they would.
Right. So they're going to have 2. They have 2 ambulances and 2 backups currently. Mm-hmm. If they send a backup truck over.
No.
we need, basically between the two counties, we need 5. So that way 4 are in operation every day and there's 1 for a backup.
That's what I'm saying. So we have 2 backup ambulances, and we're going to more in operation for them as an operation with 1 less backup unit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they still want to maintain 2 backups?
In the big picture, yes, yes.
I'm sure if it was long.
Well, are we going to buy 2 backups then?
First day of
Well-
operation, they're giving us a deadline, first day of operation, this is what you.
Well, I don't know what's in the operation. I have
Okay.
seen nothing about this, so
The-
that's why
the
I'm
thing about-
asking.
Okay, the thing
I'm
about
not
it is,
familiar with the Park County
Yeah.
negotiation.
our goal, or our requirement from what I talked with from Park County is we need to provide another one by the time the contract is signed. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have one of their ambulances over, and our new one here, okay? So that's gonna be the 2. Okay.
Is this a temporary solution, or?
It's a temporary solution, and it's the best solution right now.
Sure, but it's just temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary, but it could, if it works out fine, if anything can work out between
Park
2
County
counties.
be okay with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but here's the big thing about this. We have had, to find out what true accounting is, we don't know. But if they run it for a couple months, we're gonna give them the 45.8, and then we're gonna do all the accounting, and they're gonna show us exactly what it's costing. You know, and if it costs
That would
more,
help
then
for future.
if it costs more, it does. If it costs less, this is a working situation.
I appreciate the fact they're willing to work with us. 'Cause I mean,
Oh, it's wonderful.
it is quite a big help.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, there's a discount for, when they do anything within the county. They got the same discount plan for when they do haul people in or whatever, take them to the hospital. There's a discount on there because it's county owned, and that she said, I'll do the honor, the same thing over here to people that use their service. So, long range, we are going to have to get another ambulance down the road. I think that this one here would suffice us for now. I think that anything, a large investment like that, if we can have, the next one could be, we could check for funding and try to get it funded instead of paying for it. You know, and try to get some type of a grant that, on Britain seems like it's pretty hard to get one, but we can try to chase that. But
When's the approximate end date for the current service?
do what?
When do we have, do we have an end date?
We
set?
have a date, but Britt said that it's a flexible date, and he says around July, right? Is that the date?
The contract is in June, so July 1st is the end of the contract,
Okay.
unless we do something different with the contract.
But we have sent a letter to make it so we are flexible on that date, if need be.
July 1st is when Ileana EMS ends services in this county.
That's it.
Is that what you're
End of the
saying?
Contract, existing contract.
End of the contract
Yeah.
period. Doesn't mean it can't be extended, but that's not necessarily the Is there intentions for Ileana EMS to participate in that till July 1st, till the end of their contract?
We have no reason to believe that Ileana will not perform their services through the contract period. We have no reason to believe they won't at this point.
But we do have options on that date if we want to change that date. That's all I can say right now, so.
So since we're talking about dates, is there an agreement from Park County to start a certain date and end a certain date? Just the gentleman's discussion as far as dates, start date, end date?
They are very flexible. We've already started everything in the process of them being set up to do, so it's a smooth transition. My goal is to eventually get them a date and time where they know exactly the date and the time. That hasn't been totally determined yet because if the local ambulance service can keep providing for a little while longer, it gives us more flexibility in making decisions, you know what I mean, not be so rushed. But the thing about that I am concerned with, the agreement that I made and talked to the commissioners, they gave me permission to go talk to Jim Neeson and make decisions and bring it back. I mean, bring the decisions back, but the decision was that we make sure we have one ambulance. And so I think the direction that we need to go, and like I said, I'm proposing this. I'm going to take it back to the commissioners and make sure we're here on the same page instead of me saying all this stuff. But we have to have an ambulance by the time that. So why, if you put it off, you put it off, and you're still going to have to do it. And if you get one available, and like I said, I don't know about value. I know that
Does
Mark and them would.
Park County Ambulance want to participate in which ambulance gets purchased?
Oh,
Since they're going to operate it?
They are part of this decision making.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Julie,
who, like,
we showed
how
her all
that-
the stuff and let her, she could also get ambulances certified too.
Yeah, but I'm
It's-
just saying, you know, once it's purchased, are they gonna look at it and say, yes, exactly what we wanted, thank you? Okay.
That's the whole thing, we've been working on this, making sure it's, you know, everybody's in, you know, in that chain is on board of what we're doing. And it's just for us to be in a situation, another county who could help us out during this time, is commendable to Park County.
So this one that you're talking about, the 275, it's basically a brand new truck part.
It's all brand new truck, just different box.
Just the box on the back where they put all their supplies is
They
the used
take the
part.
box off of
Refurbished.
another ambulance, they dip it in an acid, they clean it all out, they put all new wiring and stuff in it, they put
Okay.
it back on.
So theoretically, they should last as long as
It's like new.
a brand new one.
It's
Yeah.
it's called
Yeah.
refurbishment, fire trucks, they do it to all kinds of stuff, it's
If
common.
it's done right, they can continue to do that. People will tell you it can only be done once, it can only be done twice.
Mhm.
But if it's done right, it can continue to be done.
So that would be like basically 275 for a new one versus the estimated like $500,000 for a brand new one of everything. You said
Brand new and everything, 400,000.
400. Okay.
But, like I said, the main thing is, if we're doing something with Park County, I think we ought to provide something we know is going to get down the road, you know? And it's also, the investment is they're going to take over that ambulance responsibility. We're going to lease it to them for $1. They're going to pay all the insurance and everything, everything's going to be covered.
Did you say they were gonna be responsible for the housing? Or
The housing, no, we haven't, the existing, we gotta provide what we have, unless you guys got some of the solutions. We have, what we have in place now is very, reasonable, it could be used, and if you, I can talk about that too here in a minute. Let me go back, I'll come back to that. The other thing is the existing employees will have benefits. We're saving a company.
The employees will become employees of Park County.
Okay. They will have benefits, and they will have more money. Okay. And they are all, they want to do this. So you have all the existing people in place that need to run it. And we need to make it smooth. And it's too good of a program too good of an idea to create any problem with it. So, any other questions on that?
On the ambulance part. So we would retain ownership of the actual ambulance. So if we went with a service later, like say 2 years down the road, we still own that. Is there a good market for resale on ambulances, or
Try to go buy one.
are they hard to find? Is that what?
You
If
can
wanted
find
to sell
them.
this one in the
Sure.
next 6 months, it would probably not be an issue to sell this ambulance.
Okay.
And I don't think you'd lose any money.
With that being said, are you seeking contracts for an ambulance private contract again?
Yeah,
at
we
this
have
time?
one, I think we've got response on one so far, I think, Brett, don't we, on one or two?
We have an indication from one that they will be providing our proposal. They have RFPs out, one has responded, doesn't mean that we'll get more, but we have one responded positive.
When's
So-
that expected to, is that information expected at a certain date? You have a deadline? Sorry?
April 25th.
And the proposal, right, Brett, proposal means that we have flexibility to.
10 days.
And I believe Park County is going to provide a proposal also. They want to see some numbers first.
But the thing,
They're gonna provide a proposal by the I'm sorry, the
I'm not-
20th?
I
They'll have
can't-
it by
no, I
then because
can't.
they want to see some numbers. Jim Mesa said they're not out to make a profit. They want this to be equitable with both counties, but they want to see how the numbers fit in to make sure that they're not spending their money in Vermillion County.
yeah.
I understand that aspect.
If they did get it, it would basically be in a regional ambulance service then, which would, as you know, help us on grants when we're applying for it.
Yeah, I have no issues with the Park County service. I'm just trying to see how it coordinates with private vendor, or private contractors bidding on, or providing proposals rather, and then Park County, you know, they provide one later down the road based on input they get, or research that they do. I don't know how that, it
Right.
doesn't matter, I suppose, it's just proposals, so.
And like I said, I'm gonna take it back and we, the commission, will get together and come back and say, we agree on this, because I don't want to say that it's all me, or all Britt, or all somebody else, but this is something that we are talking about.
So along the same lines, you mentioned Jim Meese, but I guess maybe what might be better is the Park County Commissioners are in agreement.
Yes.
Okay. All the commissioners.
He spoke as a commissioner and he said it was okay. And it's, like I said, we're very blessed to have someone here, especially in neighboring counties. And I think that's so important, building relationships with neighboring counties, and this is an excellent thing. We don't expect something out of them, and that they,
For now.
you know,
I mean, it's a relationship based on elections. You could have 3 new commissioners in each county that say, we don't want this. I mean, you don't know, and you know how long it could go unless you have something in writing, some kind of a legal binding contract.
and that could eventually get to that point. Right now,
Yeah,
it's
I would
just-
hope not. I mean, I like this idea. I'm just saying that anything with, you know, Jim Meese, I don't know Jim Meese, but Jim Meese
Good
could
man.
not be there next term. I don't know. Just saying.
But anyway, proceeding on, I think it's the best thing we got, and it gives us some flexibility to make decisions, and I just think it's a good idea. The next thing, I'm making a recommendation. This is my recommendation. Brett and RJ can make their recommendation or whatever, but this is my recommendation. I feel that it would make sense. The existing ambulance facility there at Cayuga. Britton's been working on this very, very hard. We have an offer from him to purchase it for $140,000. The building is all there, all set up for the ambulance and living quarters, and everything's there. The reason why I support this is because I know some people have said, well, let's go do it here, and let's park something here, and let's park something there. Them costs, you do not know what them costs are at. And number 2 is, I don't want to have the duties of going around trying to coordinate, you know, putting water and sewer in and trying to find another building, and it just logistically wise and time wise and effort, if you got a set cost of something, you're much better off than having a question mark of what you're going to do. And property values, if you have any idea about property values, the value of the investment there of that building will not go away. And so eventually, when we're building a new facility up north, I believe that we can just turn around and sell that building and get our money back. And so I'm just saying, for a ease of everything, it would be best to have that facility there. Because like I said, I mean, if someone wants to come up with an idea and say, we're going to put a motor home up here and we're going to run water and sewer to it, and I mean, you don't know what the cost is. You're going to lose every bit
Well,
of
what
that.
is the facility? It's a house.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Just a house. Doesn't have an ambulance bay. There's no garages.
There's 2 garages there.
Do they park the trucks in
2
them?
garages there.
Mm-hmm.
They fit in the door?
Well, one of them's a 9 or 10 foot door.
When you bought new trucks, they were taller and they didn't fit inside.
What's about our new one? Will
I
it
sent
fit?
you pictures of it.
Of the garage?
Of all of it. It should be on your email. It's all there.
I don't know what the new ambulance looks like. I mean, I don't know if the trucks will fit. Last time I thought somebody said they would not fit, and I guess Mark explained just now that the new
Well,
trucks won't fit, so.
If you take the south, we don't have ambulance bay in there.
I know.
So that's
Yeah.
something that we can address, but. I'm
At a
saying
bare
that facility-
minimum, the south ambulance station needs some sort of a carport at a bare minimum.
Yeah.
For a $300,000 truck, can't even get a
We're-
carport for it,
We're
you
open
know.
to that.
Yeah, I would.
And we would like to address that. That's a good issue. Britain's brought that up. We need to
For
get some cover
now,
on it.
I mean, just as a temporary measure, so.
Is there a way to get a height measurement on the new one to see if it would fit?
I don't know,
I was gonna take a look at it tomorrow, and I can measure it.
Okay.
one of the doors I think is 10 foot up.
One of it or not.
And maybe, but it's a nice building, it's very well built, and if you look at what we sent you, I know you probably haven't had it because I sent it out today, but look at what the appraiser looked at it, and says a good building, it's a good building. Only thing I'm saying from a commissioner standpoint, if we do it that way, we don't have a bunch of change of anything. They're using that now. It's not like it can't be used. They use it every day. And so if you got a facility already there that they're using, why would you try to change it and do something that you have no idea what the cost is going to be? And property values, you know good and well, if you buy a house at a decent value, a decent appraised value, or around that price, you're in good shape.
Well, I mean, I'll just say it, Ileana put us in a heck of a bind here.
Eliana ain't got anything to do with this.
Why, with the house?
Ain't got nothing to do with it. When you look at what's best for the county, you don't look at things.
You
like
mean
that.
the fact that we're having to buy a piece of property has nothing to do with the current ambulance contract?
What do you mean don't have nothing to do with it?
That's why we're here.
You're going to provide it anyway.
Yeah. No, you don't. In an ambulance contract, the way we have, it's not up, the county doesn't provide ambulance stations
Weren't you
currently.
part of the committee where we were talking about building facilities?
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're
But
doing.
this is different. We're buying something that, from an existing service.
That don't have nothing, I mean, when you look at something, you can't look at something because you don't like that people there because they've done you wrong. You look at it because what is best for the county? And what's best for the county has nothing to do with our feelings of, you know, of the past. I understand your frustration, but
Well, I am looking at it from best from the county. If it's $140,000 and you can buy a house that'd suit without a garage anyway for $100,000 or something, I don't know what the market is. That's what I'm asking.
No.
I'm not finding it. That's not my, it's not what I do, but I'm
Well,
just
these-
asking.
These are just proposal that you, what I want you to do, I want you to look at the information that you've been provided.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm
call
just-
me and ask me the questions, and we'll, you know, we'll work through that, but I'm just trying to provide a solution, you know what I mean?
Understand,
We have to have a
100%.
solution to this problem, and if we say we're not going to do something, we're not going to provide it, then Park County has to have a place to go. That's part of the agreement, and if you don't have a place for them to go, I'd like to know your solution to this problem.
So that is part of
It's
the
a bond.
agreement. So what else is part of the agreement with Park County? Ambulance and a facility? Any other?
They're providing all the gas and oil and all, you know.
And maintenance?
Yeah.
Will you be using part of that 600,000 we approved for this building, or is that in addition to that?
That's up to you guys. I'm just telling you what we're wanting to do.
As far as the insurance on the ambulance, will we cover that basically just for the ambulance itself, but not the liability of them using it?
They will provide all that. That will be under their scope.
I still believe that the county should have some type of insurance on it.
Yeah,
I think it's for the owner of
agree.
the vehicle, we'd have to.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it gives us so much flexibility, and like I said, to have a facility there, and I'm just saying my point, RJ might have a different version, Britt might have a different version, which I appreciate.
Have we talked to the insurance provider then?
They're the same provider.
They,
George is the same one for them, and he said, no problem. I get a letter from him to confirm, you know.
Britt, did you get a rough number from him for 2 ambulances?
You get rough, I got a number.
It was like $200 or $200.
But honestly, we have put a lot of work in this, and I was on vacation in Florida, and one day I spent the whole day on the phone. But we're making progress in this very positive way, and I think that what we're suggesting, what I'm suggesting, and like I said, we're having another meeting with Britt and RJ, and then we'll take a vote on what to do and then bring it back to you. But I wanted to kind of educate you guys where my thoughts are, and I think
if you would just keep us updated then on that situation once you guys discuss
Do what?
locations, give us the update after you guys discuss.
Okay, but my question to you is, in dealing with them, one of the requirements is have an ambulance. It's an investment. The one you say you want it back, they'll give it back to you. So my question is, how can I guess I need to have an emergency meeting with the commissioners and come back up with a, if we
Well,
make that decision.
We can't actually formally approve any amounts because the additional appropriation would have to be advertised and then
Okay.
the 10
That's why I
business
want to
days.
know the time frame of what we need to do.
You could get like a blessing of like, if we all agreed to go ahead and purchase a vehicle in a set amount, at the max amount, but theoretically, it still is not permanent until it gets voted on. So that's about as good as we could give you, so.
Okay. The other question is, if we as commissioners get together and we come up with this, what we want to do, to purchase X, how soon could we have some?
Well, I think the 10-day, if we would have notified the newspaper tonight, the next paper is the 24th it would hit, and so 10 business days, I think is May 8th.
I'm not discrediting you or your report, but your newspaper, I don't know if that requirement, do you know about that? If that's, you can publish in a different paper, I don't just.
Well, I think there's gonna be something new where you might just be able to do it on.
That's not till
on
2025.
but,
Yeah, I was gonna
okay,
say.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah. We talked
probably
about
not
that the other
until
day.
in July at the earliest, so.
2025.
But, okay, so we'd still have to publish it. It'd have to be paper of general circulation in the county. So unless there's an alternate paper in the county, I don't.
Why don't you, go ahead.
So I'm gonna say my general understanding is ambulance has been brought to the state of Indiana.
It'll be down here.
And it's in Noblesville, but it's going to the market on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to the fire show, fire and safety
Right.
show.
It's a trade show at the Indianapolis Convention Center.
So should it be purchased, then is there any others?
We've already had one
Hard.
similar to this one.
And
He
it-
bought out from under us while I was talking to the guy on the phone.
Okay.
Britain's got 2 brand new ones, which you're looking at 400,000. That, like, I don't wanna talk to Britain, but.
Right,
They'll
right.
sell any day. Anytime somebody walks in the door and says, I wanna buy that ambulance, which people are doing.
What price do you have on a Britain, a new one?
This is too scattered.
Well, don't comment then. I mean, we're just trying to talk here.
So my question is, do we need some type of resolution or
Where we're at.
agreement that we're gonna do something, so?
There are used ambulances available. You buy those, you get what you might get. As far as remounts go, we have one remount that's available now. Next remount that there is no remount.
Come on, come here. Britt and I get along good. We just fight once in a while. We're buddies.
Not yet. We've been looking at ambulances for quite a while. Right now, what's available is we have one remount that Mark has been discussing that's available now, that we can acquire anytime from now until it's sold. There are any other remounts of these other companies out there. The next remounts that we know of will become available in December 24 and January 25. So that's not to say a remount won't come available, an orphan or somebody gives one up or doesn't take possession, but with what's on the board right now and available. As far as new ambulances go, we have 2 new ambulances. Otherwise, new ambulances are out 3 years plus as far as ordering them, minus somebody orphaning one, which is what happened with these 2. They're sisters to each other. And those are available now up until they're sold. As far as used vehicles go, you can find used vehicles. And there's a reason why you can find used vehicles, because nobody's decided to go back and remount these. Remounting means that you have a new chassis, but you refurbish the box that's on it. And then that box comes naked, and you have to supply all the hardware inside that box and the software as well. So that's where we're at now. In order to make this a little bit clearer, maybe, or more muddy, we believe Ileana will honor their contract, be able to honor their contract through July 1st. We do not have an agreement to go beyond July 1st. Could we? It's a possibility. They have offered their ambulances to us for a price, but both of those ambulances the chassis are not very good, the boxes are rebuildable. But again, you're looking at a minimum of 4 months to rebuild those boxes, and I think that's very optimistic. But talking with Crossroads and some of the others that we have talked to, those are out 9 months, even if we would turn one of those in now and operate one of those ambulances, but that is an alternative. Where we're at, though, is that assuming Ileana completes her contract, then we have till July 1st. If for some reason between now and July 1st that they don't complete their contract, then we need to have an ambulance in hand in order to have Park County. Our safety valve right now is Park County. They're willing to come into the county actually at a moment's notice with their 2 ambulances, but we need to be able to provide another one within a week or very short order, whatever that is.
So if we would agree to purchase this one for $275, I'll give you a verbal agreement to approve the appropriation later. Theoretically, if it works out with Eric, he doesn't need it until July, somebody comes in and bids some spectacular package and we can't refute it, we could most likely get our money back out of this ambulance if it just sits here for the next 2 months, because they're not easy to find.
It's a remount, and if we put no miles on it, then it should probably sell for the same amount.
It's a brand new truck. I mean, it's a brand new truck.
Chassis.
You might be able to lease it whoever the RFP company is too.
The other thing we do have out there is the RFP. We have one that we know of, the courtesy, there was just a courtesy notification that they are going to propose on it. That doesn't mean that the other companies that we send it to won't propose on it also. But that isn't going to do until the 25th. Again, this is a stopgap measure up until the 4 months or whenever July 1st comes around. It's kind of a, I don't know, I don't know if it's a good deal, but
It's what we have in front of us.
it's what we have.
Brenda just gave me the account balance in the current like what we have $412,000. So technically, if we could vote to allow them to use that money to purchase it, then we can do the additional appropriation to fund like the service contract back in there later, so that way they could actually purchase this vehicle.
That account you're talking about is what account?
It's your main service account.
Well,
It's
we
what-
still owe Ileana this
We're-
money.
Right.
That's already appropriated.
But it would give you the ability to purchase it before our next meeting where we could do the additional appropriation and put that money back in.
Correct. That's the other alternative, but you would have to come back and, because we still have a contract with Leanna through July 1st.
Right, and you'd still have the money to pay them.
And we have no intent to, we have given them notice, and that's a management tool, is the reason why we gave them notice in case there's something that happens so we don't have to continue to make payments and not have any service. That's why that functions there. So, anyway, right now, yeah, I think that's about it.
Thanks, Britton. Okay, so we can wait, we can give them the verbal approval to buy it, we can give them the verbal approval to spend the money currently in the account, and then make the additional appropriation to replenish that later.
You can do that without the time, do all the rest, you can do it.
You have the money in the
You already have
budget.
money.
We're basically gonna give you the permission to spend your current budget money that we're spending on the ambulance contract to buy the new ambulance, and then we will do an additional appropriation to replenish that amount into the
Okay, as
service
long as that
contract.
contract money is not being taken out, that we have to pay out.
No, it'll be put back
Be
in.
replenished.
You're gonna
If we
use
choose
it
to
because
do
you're
that.
not gonna use August, September, October, November, December yet. So basically, you're gonna use those months to pay for your ambulance, and then we're gonna put those months back in,
Okay.
is what
As long
would
as it
happen.
doesn't-
Just talk it out loud.
Do
yeah,
we need to
if that's
read
what
it?
we choose to do.
Yes, if that,
Is the contract of any interest to be read, or the Park County contract, does that exist? Is that a written contract that I could look at?
No,
Contract?
Yeah,
no. Doesn't exist right now.
that'll come through a proposal later.
Yeah, it'll come through. I mean, like
But
I
for
said,
now,
we-
their operation for us will be strictly, we're helping you out. And here's what we need to
And
do
we're gonna
that.
reimburse them, and I.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously cost involved, so
The
we're
thing
not
about
asking,
this
it's a
is-
favor, but I'm just,
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was something in writing that's,
The thing about it is, if we can work with them and see how it works out, and if it turns out better, it might be a great idea for both counties. And then, you got counties that, Clinton can respond to Lyford, you know what I mean? The closeness of some of this proximity of the two.
It makes a lot of
two
sense.
services would even make sense.
But if they're gonna do it, they'll use the health department as it is now.
Yeah.
for now.
And they just need a north station.
Yeah, so that north building's $140,000, is that right? Or what, it was 85,000 is what it was purchased for, so it's doubled in value, I mean.
That's everything.
That tell you
Everything,
anything?
yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy higher than that right now.
yeah, it was,
Why don't you go ahead and just build the north building? I don't see what's the holdup there. You got the money.
It'd be nice if we had a time to do it. We don't have time to, you know?
For Park County to say they're gonna hit that thing, they want a place to go.
It isn't
You'd have
there,
to
it
be
doesn't
pretty quick.
exist.
And you gotta.
Well,
you
They
gotta
couldn't
have-
wait a few months
so
till we get that thing.
what'll be the end?
Could you rent
so-
that house and then if you wanted
Exactly.
to build, I mean, I don't know if we want to
You
build.
don't wanna rent, he wants to sell it. Well, buy it again.
Well,
I think we should get free rent for a couple months. I think we should get Joe's free rent for a couple
Yeah,
months
yeah,
until we find a
you know, if you
solution.
guys would go with that building I showed you, you could build both of them right now with the money you have. I don't know
Well,
why.
maybe not by that time frame though, that's definitely a
No.
possibility, but it's gonna happen
You're right on the
eventually.
timeframe.
So, but that raises the question of, so this house, I say house, but
His
it
house
was,
and 2 out garages.
yeah, so.
How long would that take, Kelly, to build something like that?
Oh, 4 or 5 months probably.
Oh, no, it's gonna take longer than that.
No, it's
No,
not.
not the big plan, the one he made that was smaller.
The buildings. Easily 4 or 5 months.
Can we do one at a time?
Why not?
I
No,
mean,
one
can we
item.
do one item at a time? We've been speaking about ambulance before I lose track of what we're doing.
Okay.
We'll
We
take
started
care of
with the
that one.
building.
Are there any recommendations then on the
Ambulance
purchasing
is
of
important.
the new ambulance at $275,000?
Of course, we'll have to find out if it's still there.
I'd say what you said in the last,
Would you care to have the water a little more water
Muddy?
on top of this?
Sure. It's a complex issue. Let's
It's
have
supposed
it.
to rain tomorrow.
I just want, we gotta realize that come October, basically September, then that ambulance that Park County's bringing over here will go back because of the festival that's going on over there. It's called Covered Bridge. And so come October, then we have a second, between now and October, we have a second ambulance that's gonna be needed also. So we gotta remember this is one remount. We don't have a second remount in the works right now by September.
Is it just for those 10 days they need all those? Because I mean, could we like rent one from like Vigo County maybe for 2 weeks?
I don't think you're gonna find them. I don't know.
I mean,
I just want to throw a little more,
I just wondered.
another work into this.
I wasn't aware of that, but it makes sense.
Well,
I said we had to purchase another one later,
But also Park County is at some point in time planning on putting the third ambulance on. So that fourth ambulance becomes not a extra backup, it becomes a backup. So and I think that their plan is to put a third ambulance on. So
An ambulance.
what I'm saying is that this is a continuing rolling effort here. We have one ambulance now. We do have a purchase that we could buy 2 right now for a considerable amount more money too. But they don't even come available till July. So, but we can buy 1 of those now and it would be available in July. So if we do this remount now and buy 1 of the sisters, we can have a second ambulance by that period, before that period of time comes around. So something that you don't have to consider right now, but the next meeting we may, I don't want to go back and say, okay, now we're going to give you the rest of the story.
Yeah, thanks.
No, I would imagine that if it works out and the whole operation with Park County works out and they choose to continue it, I would expect to have to buy some more trucks in the future. In fact, if we go down this road, you're going to have to buy ambulances from here to eternity. They wear out every couple of years, 100,000 miles are shot. So we're going to have to buy more. I have no qualms about that.
Effectively, Mr. Summerfield kind of started this ball rolling over a year ago. It's been over a year now. We were working with, if you remember, we were working, I don't know if anybody knew, but we're working with Union Hospital, try to us own the hardware basically, and they provide the software. This is basically the same thing. Take Union Hospital out of this. If you want to know that story, we can discuss it later. But take Union Hospital out of this and insert Park County. That's where we're heading.
right, it costs a lot more money this way too. That was gonna be close to the break even proposal.
We don't
No,
know for sure.
I don't
They
believe-
thought it would be close to break even the time we got done billing and got our money back.
Anyway,
It was a good idea.
it was an excellent idea, but just take Union out of it because they're not in the picture anymore, and just put Park County. And that's basically, we're back to that same square then. We made it 360 on that different partner, if you will.
We got that ARP money, I mean, what better place to
Yeah,
use that?
that's what I was saying, ARP.
You know, I mean, this is
Roughly $2 million
priority for the county.
Well, I got a question. You're saying this ambulance is $275, but then we got us turn around and put these striker costs and stuff back in?
No.
That was with the new ones.
No, what was your comment on that, about the striker thing?
The striker cot and the load system are part of that price. The ambulance is $194.
And the striker thing.
That's equipped.
The ambulance is $194, $194,897.
Deal.
Hearing all kinds of stupidity here. The equipment for the load system, which there's already a load plate, which is part of the cost of buying it, is already mounted in this box because it's a remount. Okay, so they're with a service agreement, the load system and the rack, the bed, is $74,547.46.
what Park County did was what it cost them to stencil and label an ambulance is $5,250. So the total comes to $274,694.46 for the ambulance. Okay, we have somebody here who might be able to do or knows how to do the signage cheaper, but that's just what they pay. Just saying.
Got done for less.
But I'm
just
just saying,
looking
that's
at
part of that
Yeah,
cost.
it's different.
Part of
That's
that
for the
cost
two
is
new
the
ones.
signage on the ambulance, because this just comes as a white box on a white chassis.
The signage is required, a lot of that
Yes.
signage is a requirement on the ambulance, not just.
There's actually a federal registration number has to be on there, all that kind of stuff.
The other thing is too, that the big thing is with
That's
George,
for the
you
two
can
new
certify
ones
that
those
ambulance
Thomas
too,
just
right?
Right, we are not an
We don't have
ambulance
that either.
provider, so
That's why
we
I
can't
was-
certify
can't
that
have
ambulance,
notice.
so it has to be done by a
We don't
company
have that
that
one.
exists, which is
Okay.
Park County. And they would, just like we were contracting somebody else, they become our contractor. But they're not doing it for a profit, so it should come out good.
Just as a side note, any type of lettering or decaling or striping on such truck will have to meet standards set forth by the manufacturers for that, and like OSHA or whoever else gets involved with it. But, so like, there's reflectivity requirements and all that kind of stuff, so it's not just, it's not difficult, it's just standards.
Are you saying that once they start operating and billing, that price could come down at 45,000?
They're gonna give us a true accounting of it.
Once they realize.
We never had that before. You're gonna actually see the cost of
Yeah.
actually providing the service.
But it possibly could come down.
Could, and it might go up a little. I don't have, they don't know either, but we're gonna find out. And then whatever, I mean, when you're dealing with it, we all know what is fair. We don't want anything that to put a burden on them, any financial at all. We won't.
No. But this is all additional cost to Vermillion County, you know, on top of the 45,000. Everything else is extra.
On top of the 45,000.
Well, that's what we're paying now.
Later on, it may adjust because we're providing
Right.
ambulances
Right.
or facilities,
Right.
so that may change. It's-
But right
it's
now,
easy
it's, we're paying the 45 plus we're gonna pay for ambulances and buildings.
for the next couple of months or
And
3
maybe
or
it'll
4.
come down to zero even.
That's what I'm saying, we'll find a true accounting of what's actually
Yeah.
going on. And we
Right.
need that.
Right.
We need that.
I'm fine with.
Well, I mean, the amount that we're paying now could possibly be argued that it's not enough. That's why we're here. So.
That's when we start looking for
I
somebody
need to back
else.
that up, because I still need to go back. I think probably Brett and I and RG need to have no meeting just to say we approved to do this ambulance, because, to make sure. And can you guys go ahead and approve something, and then we can go back and make sure that's right?
If that's what everyone wants to do, we can still give you the verbal to do that. That way you guys can agree upon yourself that you have, if you want to buy it. So you would have the funding in place if you choose to.
Okay, well, okay, that would work. The funding's in place, and if we keep it together until you guys decide you
Might
want
as
to
well
do it.
start planning on that second one too. I mean, that's just around the corner.
There is no second one right now.
No, but they could start looking for a second one, right?
They already are,
Probably.
sounds like.
Yeah. We got till October, you said, to the Bridge Festival.
We'll rent one for 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, we could
so-
go ahead and approve 2 of them.
Well, there's only one right now that's,
Yeah,
unless
let's
we
just
do the
do one
2
at a
brand new
time.
ones. Which,
There's only one.
Well, they only have.
Yeah, you only put one.
yeah, there's only enough money for in that account for one right now.
Okay.
So.
Now, those, again, let me reemphasize, we have one remount that we have today, basically, today. We have 2 new ones that we can have today. Well, they'll become available in July, but we would have to make a commitment. Come later, after today, those may or may not be available to us. There are no other new ones that we have in our pocketbook, or in our pocket at this time. We have no other remounts available to us by October at this time. So just to emphasize, and we need a second ambulance by September, in September.
Worst case scenario, you could go find a used one for 50,000, 100,000, whatever.
And we can do that.
Yeah.
can I ask this question? Should,
Used ones are always available.
well, my question is, should you accept this other proposal or request? Maybe we don't need to. If for some reason, 4 or 5 months from now, you accept this other bid, we don't need to.
And we sell what
just
we
have
got
one.
and sell
There
the
is that
house.
possibility that
There is
we
that
start-
possibility, so.
We start, yeah, within a week after the 25th, we would have an
Right.
idea. But again, those 2 vehicles minus, the fallback, I guess, would be we buy a used vehicle, and those are available to us. So I guess there is a fallback, it's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, even if you bought a used vehicle that only had a year's life left in it, that'd get you some time to get a remount or something in a tray.
We need one right now.
Yeah, and it's possible you could buy a decent used one, and it would be good enough to get remounted, but then you'd have to have one to replace it in the short term, or so, you know, I don't know. It's
So
just,
we do have the 2 Indiana ones that are available to us also, that if they were turned out to remount, but again, that remount period is.
Okay. All right, is there a motion for a recommendation for the commissioners to proceed? Is there? Is that
I like
something-
your last option, using the money we have and reimbursing it.
Okay, so is that a motion then to allow them to spend up to $275,000 out of the current
Yeah.
budget?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Mr. Somerville, a second from Mr. Bose, to allow the commissioners to authorize the purchase of a new/used ambulance for up to the amount of $275,000. They can use that out of the service contract, and then with the anticipation that we will later replenish that with an additional appropriation. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed state no. Motion is approved. Okay, so you guys have the $275,000 should the commissioners choose to purchase that new chassis with the refloat box ambulance.
I would, on the back of that house issue, I won't press it now, but I would like for you to look at it and see what you think, and then have another meeting later to...
if this, as a new ambulance station gets built, that goes on the market, it gets sold, right?
Yeah, you
As a
right.
residential house, or what? Is it
Yeah,
commercially
it's-
zoned, or
it's a
what?
right back in their residential house. I mean, you...
It's a zone. Last I knew, it was still residential.
Yeah, I don't know if it's residential or not, but you can see, if you look at the appraisal stuff and see what it looks like, the appraisal guy said it's in excellent shape.
Was it appraised as residential property?
I
or-
believe that's what I read in here.
Well, it's
It
not a
was
commercial
residential?
property, I mean, it's...
Okay.
Just, like I said, take that information home with you, or look it up on your thing, and if you have any questions, call us.
I wanna see if that truck fits in that bay.
You want to do that?
It doesn't.
It won't.
Well, I don't know, it's...
I'm big on that. I'm big on having those trucks in the building. I
Yeah.
dealt with that stuff. I've had
They
ambulance show up on
currently
scene
set
to
outside
snow.
right now.
Huh?
I believe they currently set outside
I know,
right
you can look
now.
on GIS and there's a big red square right there in the picture. It's the ambulance, but I mean, it, you know, I just think it's hard on the vehicles. It really
I
is.
agree, that's something that they really want, is to eventually have it something. we
Cut the
for
door
somebody.
open or something, make it fit, I don't know.
All right, is there any other discussion then? If everyone take a look at the emails that they send us, and then notify us once you guys have a recommendation of the next steps.
Okay, how soon can we schedule a meeting
Depends what kind of meeting you want.
to discuss that?
Oh,
To
just
make
to-
decisions, did you say?
Do they need a 48-hour notice to discuss?
Yeah.
You want one with both of you? Special
No,
meeting?
no, we done made our
One
discussion
meeting with you,
here.
for
I'm
you
saying
guys.
Just
that
the commissioners.
Commissioners get together and say, you gave us permission, but we haven't decided. I'm making that perfectly clear. We haven't got together to decide.
Yep, once you guys decide, let us, if you'll update us and let us know what the final decision was that you guys decided upon for the truck and how you want to proceed with location.
Thank you all.
All right.
Just one quick question.
Yep.
Mark O'Hara, you may know the answer to this. At the jail location, there's that metal garage structure with the safety trailer parked next to it. What is that? Is that
That's the safety trailer. That's the safety trailer shed, and we're in the process of trying to sell that.
You hear that, folks? It's a great big metal garage for sale. that the county somehow owns already?
It's big
or
enough to
something?
put about a 30-foot travel trailer in. It's got, I believe they're 14-foot doors on each end.
And it can be disassembled and reassembled?
Right, it's the $799 carport you see for sale, it's one of those, but because of the height of this, it's a much more expensive building, because it had to be engineered.
It's got full sides and garage doors on it, so it could go to like maybe the south station and serve as some kind of a structure there to park the truck in.
That's good.
Just a thought. I mean, it exists, it's metal, it can be disassembled and reassembled in components, I guess. Okay.
I'll go by there and look at it myself and measure it and see what's going on.
I don't know if there's a
And
little...
the same with the garage up at the north, and at the house up in Cayuga, it's a simple garage. It's just sitting on a concrete slab. If you hire a company to come in, and I was actually gonna hire a local guy to come over, take a look at it and give me an idea, but you jack it up, you put 2-3 courses of block underneath it, whatever you need, set it right back down, and
Doors.
it's good to go. Yeah, you change your doors.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing, and he
Well,
was supposed to have done that.
And it's
and he just
possible
hasn't.
that in order to offset some of the immediate costs we're gonna have, that maybe the new ambulance stations could be put on the side and thought about more and planned more. In the meantime, we're saving some money in the near term by doing things like that, modifying the buildings, getting a building down there. Just a thought to try to get
In the 7
through.
years he's owned that house, it's almost doubled in value. It's not gonna go down in the
No,
next
it's
2 to
not.
3 years. You're gonna sell it and get the money out of it. I mean, barring some unusual real estate type of crash or something, it's a smart move to do this. Short term, it's not the end all.
Well, I would be in favor of doing whatever's necessary to get the trucks indoors. And I think it's important for the personnel to have these vehicles in cover like that.
Absolutely, in the wintertime, absolutely.
I'll look at it and see what it is, and then try to get a quote on it. And then you're resolving your issue too.
Who owns the metal building? EMA?
The county commissioners on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tim.
Be $1.
I know a few line items we can take it out of.
We're gonna seize it.
Or go to the Commissioner's Court. Well, if you guys will just keep us updated, that way, hopefully, we can get through this process. All right, is there any public comment this evening? Besides, we missed dinner. It's a little late, sorry.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, thank you, everyone.